Hello there. The S&P has admitted it would take years to get their own currency off the ground. So that's flattened the idea of independence then. As per usual, please like, subscribe and comment below. And when subscribing, please do press that little bell, but also select the all option, or you won't get any notifications when I publish a new video. While Nicola Sturgeon says she will ask Boris Johnson to cooperate with her in breaking up the UK, the word from SNP delegate Cameron Archibald is that Scotland is moving towards its own currency. Scotland will become fiscally and monetarily sovereign, he said, probably to the cheers of the crowd he was addressing. Well, they would be fiscally and monetarily sovereign until they join the EU and have to bow to Brussels rules and join the euro, of course. But it's not as easy as all that. Mr Archibald might want to have a chat to the SNP Deputy First Minister John Swinney about all of this, because Swinney told Radio 4 that moving towards a Scottish currency would take several years. And during the interim, the legal tender of Scotland would, according to him, still be the pound. That's right. As far as the SNP is concerned, sterling would still be used across the country to buy and sell stuff. So that's okay then, right? Well, no, wrong. The Scots Nats would be celebrating their exit from the UK, but the people of Scotland would find themselves totally shackled to Westminster control via the Bank of England, with zero say and no ability to control the country's destiny. Because the UK government has already said that the UK would not be entering into a post-independence currency union with Scotland, so the Scottish government would have absolutely no say over UK monetary policy while using the UK currency. And the needs of Scotland would not be taken into account when the Bank of England raised or lowered interest rates. Then there's the effect of foreign exchange fluctuations to take into account as well. And all the while, with the Scottish connections to the EU, Scots might start to use the euro unofficially, depending on the prevailing sterling-euro exchange rates, or even squirreling hard cash sterling away under their mattresses if things get a bit iffy with the Scottish economy, and that would give the Scottish government another headache. Now, this arrangement is called currency substitution, where a country decides to use a currency controlled by another government, either fully or partly with its own currency. And this raises all sorts of questions. Worrying questions for the people of Scotland. Because without its own currency, Scotland would not have a lender of last resort. The Scottish government would also find it nigh on impossible to borrow the vast sums it needs going forwards. How will it fund its green agenda and all those promised freebies? And as to that 4-day week, the SNP government would also need to ensure there was always enough money in the form of sterling circulating around the country to keep everyone fed, as well as having enough money in the banks. The last thing the SNP government would want is empty cash dispensers. That would not cause happiness amongst the bunnies. There would be no constant flow of Barnett consequentials into the Holyrood coffers to keep them going. But there would be the constant drain on their public purse of repaying their share of the UK national debt, paid for with those precious sterling notes. The Scottish government would also be denied the big economic tools of quantitative easing and currency devaluation if the brown stuff did hit the fan. Now, some countries around the world do use currency substitution, or dollarisation, as it's normally termed, as most of them use the US dollar. Haiti, Cambodia and Panama are examples. In Scotland's case, it would be called sterlingisation. Here's what an IMF paper says about currency substitution. Dollarisation requires the adoption of special prudential measures. the banking system must be able to withstand significant exchange rate adjustments, as well as possibly larger than normal swings in capital flows. To deal with the latter, commercial banks or the central bank need to hold a larger than normal volume of international reserves or to arrange external lines of credit. Limits to banks' foreign exposure positions need to be monitored carefully, as do off-balance sheet operations that could entail foreign exchange risk. Basically, Scotland would need a large reserve of sterling to start off with. And there's the question of bank loans and mortgages to consider as well. And where would the HQs for the banks in Scotland be based? In England, maybe? Normally, countries end up in dollarisation out of huge political necessity, not through choice. Now, I'm no economist, but I can't see how any of this is beneficial to the people of Scotland. It looks to me like they'll be on a diet of austerity almost from day one. Either that or go quickly bankrupt with Sturgeon on the IMF doorstep, cap in hand, asking for help. Then comes the sticky part years down the line when they try to get people to buy the new Scottish currency by parting with their trusted sterling notes. Something the Scottish Government might end up having to force them to do. And that might end up driving money out of the country as people take a wait-and-see approach. And all the while the SNP government would be looking for international investors. Then there's that other huge elephant in the room, joining the EU and the Eurozone. That a part of our developed economy would consider inflicting this much self-harm on itself is staggering. But the SNP might not get the chance to do this. But before I get on to that, I just want to say a massive thank you to all my Super Thanks Patreon and PayPal supporters, as well as those that do buy a mug with my mug on it. Links in the descriptions box below. You really do help me keep this channel going. Now, Nicola Sturgeon is pressing for Boris to agree to help her to destroy the UK, something he is not minded to do. So he has it within his powers as the UK Prime Minister to just say no, which he already has done several times. Now, Sturgeon has stated she wants to hold a legal referendum in late 2023. And to be legal, it would have to be agreed by Boris. But the SNP has plans to take the UK government to court should Boris not agree to an IndyRef 2, hoping that even if they have to take the case to the UK Supreme Court, they can get the courts to force a legal referendum. But it transpires that senior pro-UK unionists are increasingly confident that the SNP would lose any court battle over holding an IndyRef 2. And the thinking is also that it would only take one concerned citizen in Scotland to take the case to the Court of Session in Edinburgh to have a referendum squashed before the planning got off the ground. And Nicola has a poor record in these political court cases. Just look at the Alex Salmond case for starters. But Nicola has problems much closer to home than what currency Scotland will use or how she'll fight an IndyRef 2 court case. Because according to reports, the police are on the verge of receiving warrants to enable them to seize the SNP accounts from the party's auditors to help them hunt down this missing 600,000 quid. There are now a horde of fraud accusations against the SNP over this matter, so it is time the police were seen to act. And money matters are also another weak link in the Nicola Sturgeon SNP chain. So what's your opinion on a Scottish currency? Please like and comment below.